Hey Frank, it's Vinny. Frank, I'm calling in with the Wormhole Police Blotter for the week ending June 5, 2021. Holy fuck, the year's already half over, buddy. Halfway through, it's not been so bad. Not been so bad, we had a good week. Frank, raw numbers. The Wormhole Police got out there and destroyed nearly 2.5 billion ISK. We lost one ship. Well, it was worth 259 and a little over a half. That gives us a net gain well over 2 billion. For a light week, those are good numbers. Good numbers. Now, Frank, a lot of what keeps us in business is the generosity of good citizens. Law-abiding or otherwise, they are good citizens. And, it's important to point them out whenever possible. And I would like to point out good Sir Yodik. Yodik made a generous donation to the Blotter in general. And we really do appreciate it, buddy. But I gotta tell you, Yodik, as much as I appreciate that, and I'm sure you understand, we're just out there doing our job. But it's pretty clear looking at your history there that we may someday have an encounter of some sort. Now, Yodik, at some point, what we need is like bumper stickers. Say, we put them on the back of our spaceships, and it'll say something like, I back the blue. And because I know you helped us out, but I'm administration and my boys would never know that without a bumper sticker like that on the back of one of your many pacifier losses. Boy, you're really memeing it up in that pacifier. I'm glad I meet another person that enjoys that ship as much as I do. Yodik, thank you so much for the generous donation. Now, Yodik came by a little bit later in the day. A Therahole opened up in the fine system of Notoros. And Yodik seemed to think that the Notoros people were all dipping out into Thera and they were going to move in there and stay. Seems unlikely, but that's the theory at hand. Now, Frank, here's how we did for the week on Monday. Monday starts out off great. Jesus 3D and Delta Charlie get into it with a motherfucking rattlesnake. You know they took that rattlesnake out. It was worth 1.5 billion ISK. It was flown by Saturi. Saturi lost that rattlesnake to our boys. Now, those rattlesnakes, they'll shit out an escape frigate. We got that too. We also got his buddy Stratland Noben. He was flying an arbitrator. And they had some fair bit of losses, all totaled by 1.6 billion, but the rattlesnake was the big one there. Now on Tuesday, Cletus comes out on top with the top kill of the day. Gets one of those Demons Reborn dirtbags. It was a top kill of the day, worth 7.7 million. God Save the Queen was the pilot's name. Boy, that name's familiar. I'm seeing him once or twice. Cletus takes him out in his Astero Loot Ferry drop 2.8 fair drop. Fair drop. On Wednesday. Now, you might remember the story of Lieutenant Blake from last week. This story continues. Throughout the week, this story continues. We're still seeing these guys dirtbagging around all over the place. Now, on Tuesday, Charlie catches Lieutenant Blake and his sidekick, Joshy Washy, huffing wormhole farts in their ventures. Vinny got in on that action. Between the two of them, they lost a little over 28 million. Now, we had a conversation with them. There was some words shared between us, and we tried to explain them what's up, but they just weren't having it. So 30 minutes later, back comes Lieutenant Blake. And Charlie and I were still fucking there, just bullshitting, eating donuts, drinking coffee. And we had to take out Lieutenant Blake again. Now, we had a conversation with him this time. And so far, every single conversation with Lieutenant Blake ends in a suicide attempt. It's terrible. So, if you see this guy, give him reps, whether he's asking for them or not. It's just a terrible situation. Now, on Thursday, Vinny rolls into a wormhole. And he has a look at their Z-kill history, and he sees that they're baiting in an Astero, grabbing with a Saber, and a couple other ships, and hunting hunters. So we did our best to get him activated with a confidential informant we sent in ahead of us, but they seemed to know what the score was on that. So we pulled a little reverse psychology on him. I dropped on the confidential informant as if I was going to do him in. And sure enough, Floyd McGurk decloaks in his Astero. And in comes Ramses Adele in his Saber. Well, did they know the Wormhole police were totally prepared for that operation. We took them both out. They lost a little over 570 million on that. That crew's name was Black Market Operations. Now, if you go have a look at their Z-kill history, they've been on a losing streak. And it seemed like this was the straw that broke the camel's back, because all of a sudden they started moving ships out to high sec. They'd leave in a ship, come back in a pod, back and forth and back and forth. And we tried to assist them with that, and next thing you know, they're targeting us, so we had to get Floyd McGurk again. Took out his Astero, set for scouting. And we couldn't get him to accept the police help, and after that, I think they'd had most of their stuff out, they logged out. Now, a little bit later that day, this is our only loss for the week. Paulus Titan goes up against the Academy of Russian Federation. Looks like Paulus dropped on a bait venture, and in comes a Stratios. That Stratios cooked Paulus pretty goddamn quick. He really did. Paulus lost his Astero worth 264 million. You know, at any different time in the day, you get a different number from Z-kill. It's currently showing 264. At least the loot fairy said fuck you to those guys, because it only dropped 7. Fuck you, the Russia. Now on Friday, here's a name we haven't seen in a long time. Kiera Nova gets top kill of the day. We've been doing some high-sec cleanup and community outreach. Kiera Nova got out there and destroyed this MTU. It was worth just about 10 million dropped one. That was top kill for the day. Another kill of note. Wouldn't you know that Delta Charlie runs into Lieutenant Blake. Dun dun dun. Yet again, Lieutenant Blake will never learn his lesson. I don't think he will ever stop criming away in wormhole space, regardless of our pleas. And I don't think he understands that he's well within our sphere of influence in the systems that he's entering into wormhole space through. In any case, Lieutenant Blake gets taken out again. Now, that whole corporation, the Bureau of Bureaucracy Agency Management, Inc., we've been trying to work with their CEO, James O'Malley. But best I can figure is he's 8. Because when you try to talk to the guy, it devolves into fart noises really, really quick. So we may be seeing more from the Bureau of Bureaucracy Agency Management, Inc. I got a feeling Those boys have some more crimes to commit before they're done. On Saturday, top kill of the day again goes to Kiara Nova Light Day. Light Day, it was the only kill of the day. Cleaning up the MTUs in high sec. It was worth 8.2, dropped 1.2. Now on Sunday, no kills on Sunday, but an interaction with the Wormhole police doesn't always result in your death. You know, you can trust the Wormhole police. If we catch you doing a crime and we're just trying to have a conversation with you and talk it out, a lot of times we can come to a good conclusion that doesn't result in your death. And that's the case with Acid's Corner King. That was a catch and release. I found him doing dirtbag deeds in his free practice. And I had a look at him, didn't see anything too dangerous mounted to the hull of that boat, so I dropped on him with my dual rep cap boosted Estero. Got a hold of him, got him up on communications channels, and called for backup. And usually we call for backup before we drew the drop, but I was feeling pretty bold today. And I dropped in and held him down. Now, Acid's Corner says to me, "You can't kill me." "You can't kill me," he says. Now, I don't know if he meant that I was physically incapable of killing him or that I simply shouldn't kill him. But we're going to go with physically incapable, which would have been untrue. Now, granted, it probably would have taken me an hour to 1,000 cuts him to death. Because he was wrapping up, but I was gaining on him, but I had called for backup. So now I told Acid's Corner for a small fine of only 50 million ISK, we would escort him out of the Wormhole. He came back with an offer of 20, so we came to a settlement of 75 million. He sent me 40, I let him know that was a bit light, and that's about when backup arrived. When he saw that backup had arrived and he had no choice but to pay the fine, he dropped down the other 35. So for a small donation of only 75 million to the Blood Raiders Children's Charity, Acid's Corner King was able to buy his way to freedom, and we escorted him out of the Wormhole. So remember that, boys and girls. If you're given an offer, you can trust the Wormhole police. We'll follow through. Now, Frank, I hope you had a great fucking week. A little light for us this week. A lot of people are caught up. You know, there's a new pandemic. It's called GO 2021. Yep, going outside 2021. And it's spreading pretty far and wide. So it's been a bit of a light week, but it's got to rain every now and then. And that's when we get it done. You have a great fucking week, Frank. Love ya.